welcome back to episode 9 of the Pattern Play podcast. That was such a smooth intro coming off pre-podcast gander or bit of a chatter here amongst the guys. We've only got Jude and Mash this evening for Nake Takes, which is an interesting evening segment we're introducing for episode 9. It may never make another appearance. We're just going to have a chat today. We've got some international break stuff to talk about, some lull stuff, and then we've got the Premier League Game Week 4 preview, which I'm really excited about. I'm just glad to see football back after being back from a break and then a small break. I hate this whole stuff, but we are back. And so we've got a few games, including an absolute cracker on Sunday afternoon. So we'll go through all of that. And then we've got a quick chat about fantasy football, FPL, what we're going to do with our captaincy. I think it is an interesting convo, maybe for once, about whether people are risking the transfer, but we'll get there later. And then we might have time for a game of the week, a cheeky game of the week for Mash to try and nick away at Jude's lead. All right, lads, what are we saying? Jude, you might as well kick us off. There was some news, I think, breaking today about Chelsea. Do you want to bring the listeners up to speed?
Yeah, there's 74 charges against Chelsea relating to the club paying agents. I don't know what the actual rule that they broke was, but it all happened during the Ibramovic era. As I understand it, reading articles about it, the new ownership actually reported it themselves to the FA, which I think in turn we'll get a little bit of leniency from the FA because the new owners were like, this is the dodgy stuff that was happening under the previous ownership. And the article I read, it said it had something to do with the transfers or the three main transfers that it affects. It was Eden Hazard to Chelsea, Samuel Eto'o to Chelsea, and Willian to Chelsea. Maybe there's a relation because Willian and Eto'o came from a Russian club and we had a Russian owner. So I don't know, we'll wait and see what the repercussions will be. But I doubt we'll get a heavy punishment because of how cooperative the club has been with the FA in terms of all the breaches in rules.
If you stole Hazard, you deserve the toughest punishment, actually. Like, no ways. No ways.
We didn't steal. We paid £32 million for him.
Yeah, but you paid his agent to what, like shella him or something? Like, nah, dude.
No, but you saw his tweets, and he's actually spoken about it. Like, if we didn't win the Champions League the season before, Chelsea was not on his radar. And then we won the Champions League, and he tweeted, "I'm joining the Champions League winners." So we didn't steal him. He chose to join us. Well, that's how I'm trying to see it, to make myself feel better.
Why did the agent get money then? For fun? For charity? You were just paying someone's salary for fun.
But agent fees are part of the game. It's just we paid a little bit extra, I think. I think that's my understanding.
My understanding on the Hazard one is interesting because I'm sour about this one because it involves Arsenal, which is why I care. Which is that Arsenal, according to the articles anyway, was Hazard's chosen destination. And then his agent vetoed the move, saying that basically the environment, the trajectory of the club, to be honest, he was kind of right in the sense that we never ended up winning UCL or Premier League in that era. But the agent vetoed that and said that he should move to Chelsea. And apparently there was a backroom payment made there of €7 million.
Maximum penalty. Maximum.
What's the maximum penalty, Mash?
Relegation. I don't know. Dude, no way.
Relegation to League One.
Bro, that hurts. What could have been?
You'll just give us more trophies to win.
We don't have any to give.
We went there for Hazard and came back with Gervinho. Yeah. Sad, man. Sad. Okay, well, that's interesting, to be honest. The more charges that rack up against clubs, the less I seem to care because they end up in, I mean, we were told how many times that the City ones would be decided by now.
115 or something, yeah, dude.
Yeah, nothing.
Dude, when you have a good lawyer, the glove doesn't fit, then you get away. Yeah, it's fine.
And administrative circles and long processes and yeah, who has jurisdiction? It's all very complicated, to be honest. And these are different charges in the sense that these are FA. These aren't even Premier League. So again, a different body doing a different type of charge on a different type of issue. Yeah, anyway, let's move on from Chelsea. Did you guys watch any international football over the interlull?
I watched my country.
I did as well. I only watched the Bafana games.
Same.
I must say, like, international breaks are kind of hitting different when your national team is actually a decent team to watch.
Yeah.
I've been enjoying the way Bafana plays, and I think during this international break, I think we showed that we have depth now. There were many players who are out injured, but it kind of didn't change the way Hugo Broos plays his football. And it was exciting to see Ali specifically. He's a quality defender, and I wouldn't be surprised if a European team came in for him at the start of the 26-27 season. He has an AFCON and possibly a World Cup to show more of his skill set. But I mean, I'm excited for him. He's only 19.
It's pretty cool to see Bafana competitive to some degree, to be honest.
Yeah. And I don't know, like it might sound selfish, but like I actually don't want them to get European contracts. Like part of me feels like we're gelling because it's local boys who kind of understand each other very well. In the past, every time like people get these extravagant contracts, I don't know, there's either an attitude problem or a problem around like logistics. If you think about them, like they have to go away from home to another country and like literally live away from everything in another place that's foreign and like fight for their lives. So there was a podcast of like, I forget her name, but a lady from Banyana who was speaking about like the challenges of actually going to a European culture and like trying to fight for your life there. And I think it takes a toll on them. And I don't know, I'm enjoying seeing local boys like jam, man. But they must pursue their dreams. Like that's just me being selfish.
Actually,
yeah, exactly. They must go get the money.
There's a lot of Nigerians on my timeline just because I enjoy seeing the pain in their reaction to the game and the fact that they're probably not going to make the World Cup. They were talking about how their entire squad they don't play in the Nigerian league. Yeah. They're all based in Europe, and how that affects the team ultimately. So, I mean, you do have a point there, Mash, in terms of the guys gelling in or the guys knowing how each other play because they all play in the same league.
Yeah, it can have an influence, right? I think some of the best teams we've seen in our lives had a degree of familiarity which might have been unique in some respects, like the Barcelona team that many of which came through La Masia and knew each other as kids. The great Ajax team that almost won the Champions League on a shoestring budget, and they all knew each other from the academy as well. It doesn't always happen, but the great United team, class of '92 as well, a common background.
I honestly think it plays such a big role, and like it's so unfair to say like stay when our setup is not the greatest. Like you don't make that much money here, and so until we sort that out, like sure, go get the bag. But I think we win a World Cup when we like sort local football out, because we have talent, man. There's no denying it. Jeez.
It's there. It's really there. I mean, even in the 2010 World Cup, right? I mean, yes, things didn't end up panning out quite how we had hoped, but after a really difficult draw, the performances that were put in against some of the biggest names in world football at the time, and I mean, the people who came to South Africa or watched the World Cup probably wouldn't have been able to name a single one of the players that were on the field at the time. Maybe one if they were lucky. most people only knew Steven Pienaar really around 2010. That was it. But it is cool to see. And I agree with you guys, actually. Familiarity and growing the league could be pretty cool. Like if you stay, you gradually increase the prestige, and maybe the PSL starts to become like a prestige league in Africa, which attracts local African talent, and then the Senegalese guys and Cote d'Ivoire and etc. come to South Africa first before making maybe the first leap to French football, which is the usual.
Not like Europe, right? Like I think it's easy for European talent to like move around Europe. It's a similar culture. I mean, there are differences, I get that, but like you're not that far away from home. You can like, it's easier to adjust from Europe to Europe. And we might be able to do something like that in Africa, where we create a hub for like African talent. It's a dream, but
need some billionaires. Yeah.
But also, the PSL must stop doing this thing where you can just buy your way into the top flight.
Bro.
I think it disrupts just the whole culture of the league, fan bases. I was so sad when Bloemfontein Celtic got bought up, and it's one of the most supported clubs in the country besides Chiefs
Those
and
fans
Pirates.
are amazing, dude.
They love their football in Bloemfontein, and then that was just taken away from them because some millionaire came to buy the status and relocated the club and called it something else.
Yeah.
I hate
So
that stuff.
That thing must stop,
dude.
if we're gonna get anywhere.
Yeah, it was like the Arsenal owner, right? The Kroenkes, I think it was. I'm very bad with American sports, but I do know Detroit is not in Los Angeles. I know that. And
That's geography.
yeah. And I do know that he bought a team that I believed was in Detroit. Was it the Detroit Rams? And then moved them to Los Angeles with a new stadium and moved them across the whole of the United States. That kind of thing. Yeah. Yeah, that really grates my tits, to be honest. That stuff really gets me. But there we go.
What do you think about that team Ryan Reynolds bought or something? Because in a way he's brought attention to them, and he's invested. So it's like I can kind of get behind that kind of initiative, right? Where you invest in the team and its local surroundings, and you understand the culture, and you're like trying to up it. It's not like a money making thing to you. You're not seeing, oh, they have so many fans, I can make money off those fans, so like let me buy this. It's like I want to be part of this culture. I don't know.
It's tricky because
it's a bit tricky.
The local Welsh fans, of course, will say we were competing with Wrexham for decades, and then someone just comes in, decides them basically out of luck, and then boom, they explode, and you're going, what? My rival just became, is on course to get to the Premier League. I think Ryan Reynolds is going to eventually get Wrexham to the Premier League. And as someone who spent 14 years of my life in Wales, I would love to see Wrexham in the Premier League. That'd be amazing. But there's probably an argument similar to gentrification for doing things like that, where you go in, you pour money in the club, it means the ticket prices suddenly boom up. All the guys who are coming locally then start to get priced out for the hipsters who are coming to be in the background of an Amazon documentary. It's kind of, there's both sides, but I can't help but feel like it's a Football Manager project, and I love Football Manager. So
I kind of respect what Ryan Reynolds did in that he bought a narrative, right? So, Wrexham being one of the oldest clubs in the world, and he was like, there's something to build on there. So I'm going to pump all this money in and hopefully get to the Premier League with all this investment, and then take it from there. But also just starting from the bottom.
It's sick.
They must just make a movie about it and then keep the ticket prices the same, dude. Like, no ways. That's like, I would absolutely. The gentrification argument is the worst part about this. If he ever does increase, if they ever do, like, say, nah, this is too expensive, like, we're gonna make money out of the fans, like, sure, it's the wrong move. But if you're getting fans excited and you're getting more and more people to come and you're kind of keeping it fair, it's a dream story, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure they are increasing their ticket prices after every promotion. But then you go, well, is that because you're now getting a better product? You know what I mean? Like if you're in a
Right.
better league, it is a better product. So you get what you pay for. But
No,
anyway,
but nah, dude.
How are they doing in the championship so far?
I don't know. Let's have a look quickly. Wrexham. This is the kind of podcasting content you all signed up for.
Simple
Umming and
behavior.
ahhing. They're 15th out of 24 with 4 points, 1 win, 1 draw, 2 losses. So
Not bad for a debut. I mean, we say that's good when like Leeds did it or whatever. So
they're next to Southampton, who have just parachuted down, of course, from the Premier League. So not terrible. Not terrible. And Ipswich,
Nope.
above Ipswich. Let's move off then the international break. Unless there was anything else you guys really want to cover. No, I don't see any.
Haaland scoring 5, and that's about it. I don't know.
Yeah, actually, Haaland scored 5, and of course, Mikel Merino proved again why Mikel Arteta is such a terrible manager, of course, because he scored a hat-trick, which means that somehow, in the logic of Arsenal fans' minds, that shows how Arteta doesn't know how to manage him. Bizarrely, despite him starting against Liverpool, which was their original criticism for Arteta. But anyway, let's not go into those sorts of
then
loops.
we start him and they say, "Oh, we're so defensive." I'm like, bro, that was our striker. Why we put our striker in the midfield? Like, if that's not aggressive, I don't know what is.
When did Marino become a DM? Where did this
Bro.
3 DMs started against Liverpool come from? Oh my gosh. Anyway, I did see Olivia Smith, the former Liverpool player who moved to Arsenal Women, make her debut in the women's kicking off the Women's Super League. Wow, she absolutely banged it from 35 yards, top corner, and she rifled it. She shrugs off the midfielder, moves forward, and then does across goal. I love those kind of finishes. If anyone hasn't seen the Olivia Smith goal, go find it. That is a banger. Talking about
my ultimate team, I'll go check it out.
Is she? You're in the
Yeah.
do you sorry, I thought Ultimate Team for a moment was FPL. I was gonna say, is there a fantasy for the Women's Super League? But no, I don't think there is. Cool. Let's do Premier League game week 4. It's a bit of a mismatch of a game week, to be honest. There is a lot of very mediocre football likely to play out this weekend, which they're going to try and convince you is a Super Sunday or a Super Saturday. But to be honest, it's mostly looking like a bettors weekend. If you're on the accumulators, there are a lot of fixtures which look like they could be pretty tasty for a guaranteed.
That's what I always think, and then I lose my money.
Oh yeah,
You work for them.
Never win an accumulator. No, ever. Let's start off then with the first game of the weekend. So we start off with Arsenal at 1:30. That's South Africa and Central European time. Arsenal versus Forest at the Emirates Stadium. Mash, how are you feeling?
Good. I will get into FPL later. I captained Gyökeres. I'm feeling good about it.
Captain Gyökeres. I mean,
Yeah.
Screw the format. Tell me why.
I think Forest are looking shaky. Let's go. They're looking weak. And I think we showed in the Leeds game that we'll exploit anyone who's looking a bit shaky. I think he has the potential to give us the threat that we're looking for. So I'm going all in. Like, I think Forest is the one where, and also I'm behind. So my team was half injured last game week, and it drew me back a lot. And so I need things like this where it's unpopular but still likely to. So I'm all in here.
Bit of a differential week for you. That's the aim, right? Yeah, because a lot of people aren't gonna back Arsenal after
exactly
what happened against Liverpool, despite the underlying numbers looking really good against Leeds.
100%.
Jude, I know you're not an Arsenal fan and you don't have skin in the game, but do you have a feeling about Forest versus Arsenal? Where are you lying here?
Is it happening at Emirates?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, I think Arsenal is going to win. Nuno Espirito Santo is also no longer there. That plays a part in.
Yeah, Siobhan's manager of the month. I'm just gonna put it out there. I'm just putting that out there.
She's gonna come for you in the next episode that you guys are on
Bring
together. But I do think it's one of those games where the Nottingham Forest players will kind of play like at a higher level, just to show whoever's coming in that they deserve a spot in the team. So I think it will be an entertaining game, but I do think Arsenal will win because there won't be the coordinated man management of Nuno. So yeah, I think an Arsenal win. I don't know about captaining Gyökeres though.
That's why I captained him. Differential. So we'll see.
It is an interesting one with new manager bounce. I think I always don't quite know where to lie with that. I feel like I have often seen Arsenal struggle in games where the manager was brand new. And I often feel like in the big games, often a brand new manager has walked in and then they get that leap of, they got to prove something, like you said, Jude. But often managers are let go at the end of their tether and the squad is almost disconnected from their football. Nuno's almost unique in a way, in the sense that this is just a fight between egos, and Nuno is one ego and the other one is Edu, the new director of football, and not just of Forest, but of the Forest group or the Marinakis empire. And so Edu is really powerful, and they had a clash, and Nuno refused to back down. So did Edu. They were, as I understand it, at the point where they would not be in the same facility together. So Edu wasn't coming to the training ground when Nuno was there, and vice versa. That's very toxic. But it also means the players probably aren't looking at Ange coming in and going, "Yay, that's what I've always wanted." They just signed for Nuno. This is the project Nuno got them into. And so I feel maybe this is one of those instances where actually new manager bounce isn't going to manifest. But also the Emirates, we look good at the Emirates at the moment when we play teams that are not in the top six.
I feel for Morgan Gibbs-White. He was on his way out.
The Tottenham player.
He was basically a Tottenham player, according to Fab. And now Ange is here.
It is not exactly what I'm sure he thought he was signing up for when he, of course, willingly and under no suspicious coercion decided to do it. The rest of the games on Saturday are a little lame. We've got Bournemouth-Brighton. Could go either way, but no one is staying up for that. Palace versus Sunderland. Again, could be either way, I suppose, with that one, but I do think that Palace...
That one excites me.
Yeah, that could be a good game,
I'm going to watch that one.
Everton unbeaten in 14, I saw today.
They
in
are
14 competitive games.
I feel like it's going to be Sunderland's first, real
test.
Yes, and that's going to be fun.
And Everton look good at the moment, don't they? Grealish, Beto.
Another one. Yes, let's go.
Yeah. We got Fulham Leeds, which I don't like the look of for anybody, but I think Fulham probably win that. What are we thinking? Agree?
Yeah. I haven't seen much from Leeds to make me think otherwise.
Yeah.
Hyped up because they're an old pundit favorite, are Leeds, so you won't hear much criticism, of course, of them if things go wrong. Newcastle Wolves, I don't see any light at the end of the
Wolves don't even look. Yeah, they don't even look like they're trying. So I don't. And it's at St. James. If it's a game to prove that you're still fighting for your spot, but as a better, nope.
I think Wolves are going to get relegated. It's looking very dire.
Yeah.
Look good, man. It doesn't look good.
And I think Strand Larsen might be out again.
Is he injured?
He didn't play the last game because of injury. And I saw an FPL. He still has the yellow icon thing.
Not a good sign. He's basically the only player I rate there at the moment. West Ham Spurs. is going to be the next game up after the 4:00 kickoff. So this one is at 6:30, of course. I think, and maybe this is my hatred coming through, I actually think West Ham are going to get something from this and follow the form of the last game.
Not
Jude
biased at
shaking his
all.
head.
Yeah. Not a biased opinion.
That's not a biased opinion at all.
Nah.
I think Spurs will win the game against Forest. Maybe I don't know.
West Ham.
Well, West Ham's game against. I still don't see what West Ham have to even stay up.
Bro, it's looking dire. But the fact that we said it in this podcast, though, might. Yep, exactly. We just boosted them.
I backed West Ham last time, and they proved me right, guys. I like the Mateus Fernandes signing in midfield. I like Paqueta staying. I like the other guy. What's his name? Diouf or whatever at fullback. I think West Ham looked on the edge of disaster, and I think they're going to walk right back and into form. That's my bold prediction.
Yeah.
That's my Nake take.
That's if I look at every season I've watched, they can never be counted out. There's I don't know, there's a force of nature that doesn't allow them to ever disappoint. Yeah. It's just about when that kicks in. Yeah.
Antonio will come back from nowhere and just score 9 goals in 8 games. You'll be like, what? He still plays for what?
No, he left them, right?
Yeah.
His contract ran out.
Old, no?
Right. They'll sign him on a free deal for 2 games. So he'll come on and score.
Fabianski actually signed on a free. I think it was today or yesterday.
There we go. Precedent established at West Ham. Antonio to come back and score before Christmas. Judy, why don't you end off the Saturday games for us? We've got Brentford at home to Chelsea.
A little West London derby to end the day off. Quite an interesting game. I don't have an opinion on Brentford yet, since Mbeumo and Wissa have left. Thomas Frank has left. I think it's going to be a tough game for Brentford. I think with Chelsea, we do have a lot of players that are missing, crucial players that are missing. Also, all the South American guys coming back from international break might play a part. Say again?
Is João Pedro going to be fine? Because I know there was some concerns about a concussion he may have suffered, but then I'm seeing on FPL that he looks very much fine to play.
Yeah, I think maybe the concern, well, I didn't see anything about the concussion, but the concern was that they're going to arrive very late from South America, and, like jet lag. And I think they were also playing in Bolivia at the highest stadium in the world. So maybe that has something to do about it. But I do think Chelsea win this one.
Yeah, agree. Mash, you disagree? You think there's going to be an upset there, or pretty straightforward for you?
Straightforward for me. That's one of the takes that I'm still actually keeping to. Chelsea are going to fight for the title to the end. I rate. They're looking really good. Yeah.
I think if we are to fight for the title, this is also a game that we should be winning.
Yeah, you have to, right? When it always feels like that with big game weeks where 2 of the top 6, well, if you can count Man United as a top 6 club, play each other, is when you think points might be dropping that weekend and you're against someone who's good but not great but not bad, you just have to land the 3 points in any way you can get them done. I think it's a slam dunk for Chelsea. I really don't rate Brentford since they lost Mbeumo and Wissa. They look bad, basically. I just think they look bad. I'm going to be betting on that game. Again, I should probably say less about betting if I want to keep this on some of the platforms.
Give us tips, bro.
I'm gonna end up getting sponsored by Sky Bet. I don't want that, man. I promise I'd never sell my soul. Not to that devil. Anyway, let's go to the Sunday games. There's only 2 games. They're presenting it as if it's a veritable feast, but it looks like it's probably famine, at least for Burnley and Manchester United. We've got Burnley playing Liverpool at home in the 3:00 fixture, and we've got City versus United in the afternoon. Jude, why don't you kick us off? Liverpool versus Burnley. What are you thinking?
Liverpool. I think Liverpool will win the game. I think there's a lot of conversations going on about who's going to start. Is Isak going to start? He started for Sweden in the international break, but I don't see Slot changing much going into another Premier League game. I think Ekitike will still be the man, and that is I back what I say, because I've brought Ekitike into my FPL, so I'm hoping that it is him that starts ahead of Isak. I'm also interested to see how having Ekitike and Isak at the same time is going to work at Liverpool. So maybe we kind of get to gauge. Maybe Isak comes off the bench. Maybe Ekitike and Isak play at the same time when Isak comes off the bench, or maybe Isak starts. I'm not Slot. I'm not privy to their training sessions and such, but I do think it's going to be a Liverpool win. Maybe I'll say 3-1. I just want Lyle Foster to score.
Let's go.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Vaughn will see the goal go in and she'll be like, yes, no. Yeah, I think Liverpool will do fine in this game. I do think Isak will start, and I think he'll do well. I was going to captain him for this week as my differential pick, but decided, nah, I'm not that brave. I've had too poor a start to this season to do anything rash right now, and the complete inverse logic to Mash's differential pick. Mash, Liverpool winning this one, or Burnley going to do the upset of the weekend?
I don't rate Liverpool this season. It's I might sound like an idiot because they have like
Nake Take
4 or 3 or 3 or whatever. Nake Take, yeah, I'll blame it. I'll blame it on the Nake Take. But Burnley might be too strong for Burnley, but Burnley showed something against was it
United.
Sunderland? Yeah? I mean, yeah, United as well. Like United had to fight for that win, but so Liverpool have to show up, is what I'm saying. And if they don't, which I don't think they are going to as often as they did last season, they will lose points. They'll drop points. And as a better, we are not sponsored. I promise we're not sponsored. I'm going to bet on a draw because I think it's more likely than bookies think. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. In terms of your belief or assessment of the game, assesses the likelihood of it or higher than we would rate the bookies will be predicting it. And I must say, I agree with that. I do agree with that. Yeah.
Can I ask you guys, how do you see Isak and Ekitike coexisting?
Bro.
Like, what does that look like for you guys?
I don't think you play a 6'5" player on the wing. So for me, Ekitike is either a second striker at times in certain games where you can get away with it, or he's bench for Isak.
That's the only way I see it. Like,
but that's crazy to bench a 95 million pound player.
I know.
When you're Liverpool, man.
That's why I don't know. I'm not feeling them this season. That doesn't make sense to me. It feels like wasted investment. Honestly, it feels like just wasted investment.
But he's on 56 million pounds, rising to 63 if we win the Champions League and all that stuff. Ekitike, the secondary striker, the bench striker for Liverpool, is at 95. I mean, my goodness me.
Can Ekitike play 10? Because is Wirtz
not in his
England?
career so far. No,
because I haven't seen him.
I think it was Vaughn was saying that he could play left wing, and then I was saying in the group, like, he's done it 4 times in his career out of,
right,
I think it was near 200 games, about 160 games, 4 at left wing. And when he was a bit younger, he's a 6'5" French Peter Crouch. You know what I mean? Like, guy is up front only. That's got to be the profile. And if he does end up playing that kind of secondary striker or
shadow striker, yeah.
That's weird and would suggest Wirtz hasn't quite landed in the Premier League.
Exactly. Like, to me, that's the the only way Ekitike starts is like change it up, have him shadow striker and Wirtz benches, because Wirtz, I don't know, people are being nice. If it was Arsenal, they were going to be horrible, but people are being nice. He hasn't showed up. Like
He was whack in the last game. I don't care what anybody says.
dude. And they'll tell us about second half, like
Apparently
because of
for
I
Germany,
scored,
he
he's
didn't
fine.
ball out either in this
Nah,
international break.
Is it?
the hate watch is on.
Yeah.
Dude, let's go. No Liverpool fans here to defend him. Let's go.
Now, Von will have her ammunition for the next podcast. I expect Von to walk into the next podcast like Rambo in that scene in the jungle, where just da, 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 da. And probably deservedly so. Final game of the weekend, guys, is probably the only one that really is going to make the money this weekend. Man City at home to Manchester United, Manchester derby. Mash, why don't we come to you first? Predictions, thoughts, where's your money going? Is it an obvious City steamroller?
Yeah. I like Man United. Like when they gel, they play some of my favorite football. Like they epitomize what I fell in love with, like the EPL for. And I've seen it, like I saw it against us, the bastards, but it's too inconsistent. Like, and City, I think, will at the Etihad, they have a bunch of players that are fighting to prove themselves. They can suffocate teams, and if I think they're going to suffocate United, and I don't think United will fight.
Disagree with that, Jude?
I don't think it's going to be as clear cut. I think Man United, when I've watched their games, they start really strong, like in the first 10 minutes of any game that they've played this season.
Yeah, Burnley.
But they need to have that over a longer period of time during the game, because if their performance does taper off, Man City will steamroll them. I don't know if an international break can kind of get that out of their system, where they kind of dip in the game. If they can manage to hold on to that kind of energy from the beginning to the end, then I can see a draw, maybe. So if I was a betting man, I'd go a double chance between a Man City win and a draw.
Oh, Man City win or a draw. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be the controversial one then, I suppose, and continue my City hate watch. I want to make this a hate parade. I want this to be like China's military parade recently. But
your
instead,
take at the beginning of this was that they're not even going to make top 4, eh?
Yeah, that's my take. So Man United, I need you to do me a favor and start nailing in coffins here, because look, I just think that City actually signed a bunch of substandard players that don't replace the quality that they are losing with the loss of people like KDB leaving the club. Like I just don't think you lose people like Gundogan, like KDB, like have Rodri go through the injury situation he's gone through, Foden go through what looks like the football just leaving his body in an Ali-esque collapse. They've also sold players which I think were better than. I mean, I'll keep chirping on about it, but Julian Alvarez is a phenomenal player, and I cannot believe you let that guy leave your club. There we go. Yeah, Cole Palmer is another one. Even, I hate to say it, but Liverpool's Rio and Gamoa, who of course scored the winner. You don't. Well, no, that's a Chelsea one in this case.
I was about to say.
You don't let people go and then come back. I mean, you've had Salah and KDB and others happen to Chelsea. It feels like with City, they've done the same. And a lot of their academy kids are now cropping up elsewhere. Yeah, I don't rate them. And I think Amorim, you know, when in football, someone's really backs against the wall and it's just when you expect them to get messed up and they come out of nowhere and they surprise you. I think this is the weekend. But I can't wait for this to be clipped up by my wife, posted on social media after Man United lose 4-0. And
Mamouche is also injured, so I think that also has something to do with that result on Sunday. He got injured playing for Egypt.
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Is Cunha fine?
I think so.
Without Cunha, I don't see them.
He's out.
United. He's out.
Done. Yeah,
dude. Without Cunha, I don't see. I don't see. Like Mbeumo, sure. Like
can't do it by himself.
Nah.
Brian Ayew. Have you seen that butt, guys? That guy will just back into the opposition.
Takes is my favorite. It's my favorite.
Brian Ayew. Brian Big Butt Ayew. No, but seriously, I that's a player. But I hear you. No Cunha. Maybe they're going to be forced to play the £80 million striker they bought. Oh,
maybe they're going to be forced to not play 3-4-3.
Oh, Amram would rather die.
Win.
Amram would rather die, man.
Managers who like playing 3-4-3 don't deviate from that ever.
Ever. No. Injuries, loss of form, relegation, losing your job. No, job.
The Chelsea have had those managers over time. They never deviate.
It's so funny. People are like, he's the person who's good on the mic, but it's so funny watching him because he'll think about everything and they're like, oh, what about this play? And go, what about this? And so then people are like, what about the formation? No, there's nothing wrong with the formation. Like, what are you saying, dude?
Copy the formation.
Just like the formation. Everything else he gives thought and he's like, I'm going to give a good answer here. That he gets very defensive. He's like, no. What? Because
it's his thing. It's his thing.
It can't possibly be where you put players on the pitch. No, goodness me, that would be great. Anyway, guys, we're going to call it there and just run through a quick game of the week to end off for the listeners who complained to me in the DMs about the last episode with no game of the week. They were quite disappointed.
I was one of them.
Yeah, I got 2 photos from cars, basically people going, we were all ready to guess in the car while we were listening to the podcast, and then there was no game of the week. So backed by popular demand, we have a quick game of the week. We're doing guess the player again, of course, based on the career. Mash, look, there's a 95% chance you're going to lose here. And if I was a betting man on this specific thing, I know where my money's going, but good luck.
And squad cost in Bimpis, if I'm going to Google it, you guys will know. I can't even cheat.
Yeah, you can't cheat. We'll know.
What's the point of cheating? Like, challenge yourself, you know?
Says the guy at top of the league. All right, let's run through then the career history of this player. And remember the rules. If you guess and you get it wrong, you have to wait for the other person to make their guess before you're allowed to jump in again. But jump in at any time. First club, French team, Le Havre. Le Havre. Le Havre. I don't know how to say it. They make their first career move to Chelsea. After Chelsea, he makes the classic North London switch and jumps to Arsenal.
Anelka.
No, it's okay. No, I have time now. I have time. Please continue. I know who it is, but I want to make sure.
You're gonna
choose. No, choose.
No way. I have time.
Be fair. No. Choose.
As the league leader, if you feel you know, why don't you jump
in?
Tell
us.
Okay. Is it William Gallas?
Incorrect.
Oh, damn it.
Oh, no!
You rubbish, dude. And then you're gonna get more clues and you'll be like, I knew the whole time. We got you.
Okay, so now the next club that gets called out, either of you can jump in and it's a free-for-all. Because this should give you the hint. After Arsenal, he makes it big by going to Portsmouth. Nope. Okay. Interesting that I can throw out the next club because then he really does make it big and moves from Portsmouth to Real Madrid.
Le Havre, Chelsea, Arsenal.
Portsmouth, Real Madrid. And then this
I'm
player
so glad me and Jude lost at the same time. We're both equal. We're as good as each other.
There's probably someone shouting, listening to this. They're shouting the answer.
If we weren't on Nake Takes, you
Portsmouth.
guys would have got it. After Real Madrid, he gets sucked up into the Russian football revolution and finds himself at Anshi.
Makashkala. Who the hell?
I think around the same time, Eto ends up out there, to be honest with you, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, Eto, Willian, Roberto Carlos, they all joined at the same time.
Yeah. And this is a similar big name who arrives there. Well, big name, not on the name sort of level that you just said. But after Anshi moves within Russia and goes to Lokomotiv Moscow. After Lokomotiv Moscow, starts to wind down his career, comes back into Europe. I'm going to give a hint, comes back to his home country and plays for Marseille.
I wonder
I'm
what
stumped.
his home thing was.
And then he goes to Al Jazeera in the Middle East and then finishes his career.
Google knows.
Eh?
I Googled it. I cheated. I know now.
That means I win, surely.
No, I didn't say it out.
No, but you cheated.
I know. I would have cheated if I guessed what Google told me to guess.
Why don't I know this player?
Cheating.
Le Havre, Chelsea. Can you give a clue as to the position?
Defensive midfield. Last name begins with a D.
Did you say PSG?
No,
Yes.
Marseille. Oh, he
Marseille
played for
and
PSG.
Yep, both.
Yeah,
Oh,
I don't think he said
Desailly.
PSG.
No, he didn't play for Arsenal.
Didn't play for
Dude,
Portsmouth.
it's fine if you don't know. We draw. We're equal. You and I are equals.
What the hell?
I'm going to
Dude, I'm
reveal.
as good as Jude. Yo, I'm going to tell people.
Okay,
I'm as good as Jude.
I'm revealing
Yeah,
the player.
Tim, you win.
Diarra.
Lassana Diarra.
Of course.
Dude.
Yeah,
dude.
So wait, Tim, do you get a point in that scenario?
the house one, right?
I mean, technically.
Yeah, I think the house one. I'm gonna probably give myself a point, but that's host rights, I suppose. I can give my
Diarra, man. I'm so annoyed.
But... Well done, guys. I really thought someone was gonna get it. I thought this was gonna be a harder one, but not quite that hard. He's got a very strange career history, to be honest. And when you say Chelsea and Arsenal, there are so many other players who then flood your mind because of the classic pipeline that we've created, which I hate. But anyway, I'm just glad it's not Gallas. I'm never, ever going to choose Gallas as guess the player, just to put it out there.
Because he played for Tottenham as well.
No. You know what his actual crime was? Wearing number 10 as a defender.
Yeah.
Like, he actually deserves to be tried. He deserves to be tried for that. What do you mean?
No, that guy, big problem. Yeah, I don't much like William Gallas. And on that note, on that bombshell, we're going to call it there. Thank you so much for listening once again, getting all the way to the end of the podcast. Thank you for making it to the end of episode 9. Let's see what happens this weekend. I'm still hopeful for a Manchester United victory and a Burnley shock draw, I guess, is maybe all we can hope for. But there we go. Thank you, Mash. Thank you, Jude. And see you next week.
Thanks, guys.